In the last video, we created a new create stream action creator and then imported that along with the connect function to our stream create component. So now we need to somehow wire up this action creator to our component, but as we just saw, it's going to be a little bit challenging to hook up both the connect function and Redux form to this component. So in all honesty here, we can absolutely do it, but the syntax is going to look just a little bit nasty. So to do so, we could call connect right here, place one set of parentheses, and then wrap the entire statement all the way from the opening part of Redux form to the very end inside of another set of parentheses. So there's the opening one and there's the closing one. This would work out totally fine right here, but very frequently we will use a slightly modified syntax. So let me show you another way that we could write this out. I'm going to remove the export default statement right there, and I'm going to instead create a new variable called form wrapped, like so. So the idea here is that we were making a form wrapped version of our stream create component. And then now at the bottom of the file, we could put another export default statement, place our connect function, and then pass in form wrapped, like so. So that's how we can very easily stack up additional kind of nasty looking functions like this without ending up with some crazy syntax. So now getting back on track here, we do not yet have a map state to props function, so I could pass in null as the first argument, and then as a second argument, I'll put in my action creator of create stream. And now finally, inside of my component itself, I'll find the onSubmit function. Anytime that the user submits the form, I'm going to make sure that I call this.props.stream, I already forgot the name of it, create stream, there we go. Create stream, and we will call it with all of our form values. So now whenever the user tries to submit the form, we're going to validate the inputs. If the inputs are valid, we will call onSubmit. OnSubmit is going to call our action creator of create stream. So that's going to run the create stream action creator right here, and we're going to attempt to make a request over to our API server and create a new stream. And we know that this is going to create a stream because we are following RESTful conventions. We are making a post request to /streams. All right, so I'm going to save all this. And then recall that we had stopped our server to do an npm install back over here. And you know what, I'm actually looking at the npm install. We forgot one little step, or I forgot a step here. We forgot to wire up Redux Thunk. Let's do that really quickly. While we do that, let's start our server up as well with npm start. Okay, so while that goes, I'm going to flip back over to my root index.js file. So here's the root index.js file. Remember, inside of here, we had already set up the apply middleware call in anticipation of wiring up Redux Thunk. So this is going to be really easy. At the top, I'm going to import Redux Thunk from redux-thunk. And then I will make sure that I pass that into the apply middleware call right here, Redux Thunk. Cool. All right, well, let's flip back over to our application. Here we are. I see my form on the screen. So now I'm going to pull open my network request log. I'm going to filter by XHR requests, and then I'll enter in some stream name. So how about like my stream? And I'll give it a description of something like, this is a great stream. And then I'll submit. All right, so we see a little nasty error message here, but I bet you can guess why we see this one. Yeah, total traditional. We've got a callback function that we are passing off to a component, and we did not bind it. So let's make sure that we define this with an arrow function. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not plan this error. I planned the one around render input when we ran into it, but this is just an example of how often you tend to run into this stuff, unfortunately. All right, let's save this, flip back over again. I'll say my stream. This is a great stream, and then I'll submit it. And now I see two requests appear right here. I see an options request, which is totally fine, and then I see a post request. Now, just so you know, the options request right there is because we are making a request to a server that is running on a different port. This is related to CORS request errors, or core enforcement policy, if you've ever taken a look at CORS errors before. So it looks like CORS is working successfully here. And we've got our post request that is returning a status of 201, which indicates that our stream was successfully created. So now we can check to see if that stream was actually made or not. To do so, I can go back over in a new terminal window to the API directory that we had just created with that db.json file. Now, if you are on a Mac OS or a Linux-based system, you can run cat db.json, and that will print out the contents of that file. And now you'll see that the API server has automatically added a new record to that file under the streams key. This is our stream, and it was automatically assigned an ID of 1. Now, if you are running on Windows and cannot use the cat command, you can always start up your code editor inside this folder and inspect that file and just verify that the stream was created successfully. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, because we followed RESTful conventions, we didn't have to look up complicated documentation or anything like that. We just made a post request to the appropriate endpoint, and our record was created for us. So this is fantastic. Now that we have the ability to create new streams, it's time for us to focus back on the original stream list component and make sure that we can show a list of all the streams that have been created over here as well. But before we do, let's also make sure that we start to put a little bit of thought into wrapping up our create stream action creator over here. So we got a couple of things that we're juggling simultaneously. Let's take a quick pause here and we'll continue in the next video.